same way. But he, because of COVID,
It's not on.
real
Had
and
to have
internal,
this one.
he basically decided I'm not going out. But I will go out and do some things, but not these other things. But anyway.
By the time you show back up to work,
Everything happened. Hang on, man, for him to walk from here to there.
Hey, good. How are you doing, Ms. Cook?
Got your
Good
green
to see
on
you.
already.
Hey, John. All right.
Okay, I just didn't want you all.
The microphones are on.
Okay, she's
A whole bunch of issues. I've sat there a couple of weeks.
He said he was. I saw him at English.
So help them out if you can. 30 seconds.
Quick thing.
James said he had seen him for a little bit.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff talking to me.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. It is Monday, March 6th, 2023 at 6 p.m. I would request that you silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices. Excuse me. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Gwen Flowers Taylor of District 1 to deliver the invocation and Commissioner Ryan Bolden of District 4 to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
If you'll join me, please. Father in heaven, we come to you tonight in thanksgiving and gratitude for the life that you've given us, for this wonderful city made of wonderful people that we have been blessed to be a part of. We ask you to be here in our midst during this meeting tonight. Help us to make decisions that are good for the greater good for everyone in Spalding County. Help us to have patience, discernment, and understanding as we address the issues that will come before us tonight. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
If you would, please join me in the pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yep, Chairman Davis, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to amend the agenda to include an item number 5 under new business for a letter and resolution to Senator Ossoff and Congressman Drew Ferguson in support of the new Griffin Spalding County Airport.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir, you have a second.
All right, motion, a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Thank you. Public hearing. Lift from the table and conduct a public hearing on application 22-09Z, Clinton C. O'Brien and Sandra O'Brien Mallory, owners, GFH, developer, agent 480 Tamachichi Road, approximately 85.9, located in land lot 49 and 50 of the 3rd Land District. Application request rezoning from AR1, architectural, agricultural and residential, and R2, single-family residential, to C2, manufacturing. Do I have a motion to lift from the table? Hearing no motion to lift from the table, we will move on. So those of you that are here specifically on that issue, the attorneys on both sides have asked for that to be delayed, to continue to be tabled till the rest of the information can be received. Either of you two want to say anything? Okay, thank you.
Only that we will properly advertise for the next public hearing and make sure that our community is aware of that date.
We would all love for you to stay, but if you were here for specifically for the Tamachichi thing, please feel free to go ahead and leave. Item number 5, presentation and proclamation. Dr. Clark, President of Southern Crescent Technical College, would like to share his vision and provide an update to the board on the college. Dr. Clark. Good to have you here, sir. It's good to have you in our community.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Is it okay to stand here?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm sorry. Good evening. My name is Irvin Clark. I am the proud president of Southern Crescent Technical College. I've been at the college since April of 2022. And so it'll be almost a year next month. And so I'm really excited about a lot of the opportunities that we have made here at the college, particularly in Spalding County. And so I just wanted to come out and share with you some updates on what's going on at the college. But before I get started, I wanted to thank you all for your support, particularly with your support as a commission, but also with the first responders in regards to the tornadoes in Spalding County and how it impacted our campus. I can tell you that we were very fortunate to be able to have such support from Spalding County in regards to that. And we are moving forward in terms of rebuilding some areas of the campus. And so I just wanted to provide that brief update to you and just wanted to thank you and all of the first responders who helped support the college in that regard. So today I just want to give you an update on Southern Crescent Technical College and some of the great things that we're doing here at the college. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. But Southern Crescent is one of 22 technical colleges here in the state of Georgia. We were formed by a merger between Griffin Tech and Flint River Tech back in 2010. And so we are now Southern Crescent Technical College and been in existence for about 13 years now. Next slide. Our mission is really based on three main areas of technical education, adult education, and economic development. Within that mission, we focus strongly on, with technical education, our academic programs, making sure that students here in Spalding County and throughout our 8-county region have access to programs that lead to a technical certificate of completion, an associate's degree, or a diploma. We have a number of majors that students can take, particularly in our high-demand industry sectors, such as advanced manufacturing, allied health, information technology, logistics, and transportation. We also have an economic development division, which is a division that focuses on short-term training that we offer here at the college. Many companies in Spalding County participate in our economic development training programs for leadership training or some short-term training that's usually 160 hours or less. We also have our adult education program, which focuses on students who need to earn a GED or ESL training that we do here at the college. This slide right here is just a snapshot of our enrollment in Spalding County. As you will see, we have partnerships with Griffin Spalding Public Schools, also the College and Career Academy and the Development Authority. Those three partners work closely with the college in regards to a lot of the workforce development training that we do both on the technical education side and economic development and with our adult education programs. Our dual enrollment program this current semester is 229 students. We have had well over 1,700 students in dual enrollment since 2015. We also are very proud of the fact that our adult education population in Spalding County continues to grow, as you can see on the slide at 181 students. In addition to that, over 15% of our students at the college are made up from Spalding County. And so we are proud of that fact and look to continue to grow that as an opportunity for us to be able to provide workforce training for students, families, and businesses in Spalding County. This right here is just a snapshot of the workforce pipeline that the college targets in regards to workforce training. Those different populations of students or community members that you see up there, K-12, adult education, traditional students, veterans, and incumbent workers are all of the different sectors that we target at the college each and every day. Whether we're working with business and industry with their incumbent workers at one of our local businesses, or we're working with the Spalding County School District for K-12 students, or we're focusing on those adult education students who need to earn a GED, or veterans who are very relevant and active in Spalding County, or traditional students, individuals who are unemployed or underemployed and need to upskill and able to be competitive in the workforce. We target these different populations through our recruitment activities, which allows them to get enrolled into our classes here at the college. Wanted to share this with you. One of the great things about our college is that in addition to what we do in terms of our mission of technical education, adult education, and economic development. We also focus on articulation agreements that allow for students to transfer to a four-year college. We offer about 27 courses that will transfer to a four-year college or university here in the state of Georgia. We also have articulation agreements with several colleges and universities in the state. And so a student can take general education courses that will allow them to transfer to a four-year college. In addition to that, we also have programs that are aligned with programs at four-year universities that allow students to be able to transition into those universities and finish that degree program. Our college, whether it be the University of Georgia, Fort Valley State, Valdosta State, Gordon State, or Clayton State, a student here in Spalding County can find a pathway to a four-year degree through Southern Crescent Technical College. This right here, just want to spend a little bit of time on, this is the workforce framework for Spalding County. And this is important because this really sets the framework for where my vision is for this particular campus and for the county and how we're going to move forward with workforce development in the region. On the outskirts of this framework, you'll see in black the different areas that represent the programs that the college is targeting in Spalding County. Nursing, allied health programs, information technology, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing with welding, mechatronics, and computer pneumatic control, small business entrepreneurship, adult education, GED, and logistics and transportation. These are high demand industry sector areas that we've identified through both research and data and also speaking with industry partners that the college is targeting in Spalding County that we want to grow the workforce in that area. And so our efforts to do that are going to be executed through what you see in the green dots, which are the strategies that the college has taken to be able to meet that need. Our externships, which I'm going to talk about all these in depth in the next several slides, fast track training, small business innovation center, registered apprenticeships, and credit degree programs are all the different strategies that the college will take to be able to meet the needs of students, industry partners who want to enroll in those programs or upskill their workforce. In the middle in the blue are the different entities that will be beneficiaries of this program: GED, ESL students, incumbent workers, employers, dual enrollment, and high school graduates. All of these entities together, along with the college working with industry partners, working with you, the commission, will help us support this workforce framework that will move Spalding County at a higher level in regard to workforce training and having a skilled workforce. Next slide. I'm going to go into some of the examples of why this workforce framework and how we're going to implement the things that that exist with it. This first one is our educator externship. Through the generous support of Georgia Power, we were able to secure funding to help support an externship program that will allow for teachers in Spalding County schools to visit our campus and learn about technical education, what role it has in Spalding County. In addition to that, those teachers will also be able to talk to industry partners as well as the Development Authority, the Chamber, because we want them to understand the science of what economic development is. What do we do and why do we do it? Why are we training for all those jobs in advanced manufacturing? What do those jobs mean in terms of pay, in terms of someone living here, learning here, working here in Spalding County? We want to help teachers see that. We want them to know that there is a pathway for a student who enters a mechatronics program, for example, and that they can go into a local employer like Renai and make a very decent salary and live here. They don't have to travel outside of the region and be able to get work. We also want teachers to be able to talk to our faculty, to be able to collaborate, to be able to build those relationships and partnerships. And so this externship program allows for those teachers to come into our setting. They also have an opportunity to visit industry, to be able to talk to our industry partners, to hear firsthand what's going on in those particular areas. They'll take that information, they'll take that back to the classroom, they'll take that back to teachers, and they'll begin to spread the word about Southern Crescent Technical College, about those industries that they've been able to visit, and how that's impacting this particular community. We are focusing on industrial programs as well as allied health. And so those two anchor areas will be our focus for this year's externship program. And we are looking forward to having those participants, those teachers from Spalding County, be a part of that. Next, our fast track training. A lot of our industry partners take advantage of this. A lot of the companies that are in your county participate in fast track training. Again, this training can be training that's 160 hours or less, or 10 weeks or less. It just depends on the company. We can customize it. But those topics that you see up there in terms of the training are just examples of things that our college can do to help support training. So if you are with a company and they said that they need leadership training or safety training, Southern Crescent can be a provider of that. If you have companies that are looking for CNAs, Southern Crescent can be a provider of that. If you have companies that are looking for any type of training in regards to computer skills, industrial maintenance, logistics and transportation, we can be a provider of that. We have access to the resources, we have the faculty, we have the facilities, and we want to help companies in particular in Spalding County stay competitive and keep their employees upskilled. It's about our college being responsive, not reactive. And being responsive means being prepared. And we are prepared. And it's important that you know that and that you share that information with companies so we can, you know, have that readiness when you want us to be ready to say, listen, Southern Crescent is here to serve and support, and we will do that. But this training is an example of that. Next slide. Small Business Innovation Center, really proud of this. Beginning this fall, we will be launching a Small Business Innovation Center. This is something that's new for our college in this county. This will allow for us to be able to help support small businesses in the county. We're going to have a 12-week entrepreneurship program that's going to allow for business owners in Spalding County to be able to come to the college and enroll in a program that will give them a number of technical skills to help them if they're thinking about starting a business or they want to grow their business. And so this program will be in the county, in Spalding County, on our campus in Spalding County, so they won't have to travel. They'll be working with our teaching faculty, and they'll also have an opportunity to participate and interact in space that will be designated for small business owners in the county. And so we look forward to having that program begin in the fall, and would encourage you to please share that information with other business owners who are in the county. Registered apprenticeships, you may have heard about this a lot in the news or throughout the state, but registered apprenticeships are very, very important. I can tell you that our college is one of the leaders in the state in regards to registered apprenticeships. Registered apprenticeships are a way for companies to grow their own, as I would like to call it. It's an earn and learn model. You have a company who will have someone who will participate in training on site with that employer, which we call on-the-job training, and they will also have an opportunity to take classes at the college. During that time, they are working with a mentor as well as the college to help grow that student as an apprentice and get the technical skills that they need. The college has access to a number of funding opportunities through both the state and through our work source boards that has allowed companies to participate in the program. We have several companies throughout our service area that are involved. We have two companies in particular, Vernay and 1888 Mills, who are part of our apprenticeship program currently in Spalding County in the Megatronics area. And so this is something that a lot of companies, whether you are on the industrial side, you're in allied health, you're a small business, you can participate in an apprenticeship program. If a company wants to grow their own, they have one employee or they have 10 employees, they can move them through an apprenticeship program to upskill them, and the college can help with getting that particular employee the skills that they need, whether it's on the business side, industrial, any particular area we can focus on. We can customize the apprenticeship program through our non-credit program, or we can move the program through or we can have a program through our credit program. So we can do whatever we need to do to help support the companies, but this is something that we're really looking towards doing. Our goal is to have 100 apprentices by December of 2023, and we're really on track with that right now.
That's super.
This right here is our credit and degree programs. Just left before coming here, commissioners, our high demand industry sector pathway program that we just launched. This program will allow for students to enroll in one of 5 pathways that will help them begin a degree program and also enter into an opportunity to be able to work with local employers through what we call a pre-apprenticeship program. Those 5 areas that you see listed there, logistics, mechatronics, allied health, entrepreneurship, and computer pneumatic control, are high demand industry sectors in Spalding County. So students potential students have an opportunity to enroll in these programs and be able to get the skills they need and begin that pathway towards a degree. On the other side of that, with the program highlights, evening hybrid program, students can earn an industry-recognized credential, and that includes a Lean Six Sigma certification. They're on the pathway towards their associate's degree. We have a special component of the class, a soft skills component called Live, Learn, Thrive in Southern Crescent, and that is just a way for us to be able to help students understand the importance of staying at home, thinking about living, learning, and thriving here, the benefits of living in Spalding County, and what does that mean?
Super.
And we want to make sure we get that word out, because too many times we hear from employers, you're getting trained here, but they're leaving to go somewhere else. We want to reverse that and want to bring people back here and understand the importance of when you spend your money here, you live here, you learn here, you work here, it's going to make the community better and stronger. This right here is just an example of the marketing flyer that we had for the High Demand Industry Sector Program. As you can see, listed all of the programs up there. Next slide. This is an example of the Allied Health Pathway. Students can start it. They'll be able to earn a certification in Lean Six Sigma, as well as their CPR certification, and also they'll take that class, the next one. CNC technology. Next one, I'm sorry. Entrepreneurship, logistics and distribution, and the last one is megatronics. So these are programs that are designed to help engage individuals who want to attend college or want to upskill. Employers can send their employees as well. These are programs that we will continue to grow and offer in the subsequent semesters. And opportunities like this and any ideas that you have to help support us, we would greatly appreciate it. The last thing I just want to share before I end my comments is the importance of our partnership with you, the commissioners. I am here to serve and support this community, and I do that proudly. But I need to know and hear from you if you need anything from us in regards to your constituents, your communities. Our college is open and ready to come and visit and engage in your communities, in each of your communities. We are not going to wait for them to come to us. We will come to you, and we want to let you know that, whether it's our ESL program, our adult education programs, to have those in your communities. Whether it's our credit programs, we can go into your communities and recruit and engage people about those programs, or economic development in terms of industries that you are working with, that you may say, I know the president of that college and I understand you have a need. I'm going to pick up the phone and call him, and he will respond to me immediately, and we will get you what you need to help support you. I just ask that you please partner with us to do that, because we are here to serve and support and keep Spalding County as strong as it is, and even stronger with workforce development in the region. And so I open it up for any questions you may have.
Wow,
Absolutely.
great.
Yes.
Comments or questions?
I got a question. Thank you for that, Dr. Clark. I wrote myself a note. How closely does Southern Crescent work with Three Rivers Workforce One, the workforce development program? Because there's a big, I know this because I sit on the Three Rivers Board, but they've had a program, they've had a program for many years where they focused on young people. Now they're focusing on people 18 to 26, and then they have a second program for older people or just people trying to get back in the workforce. But they're limited on advertising, and their workforce program basically pays your salary and benefits for 6 months with industry. So just as a suggestion, that certainly may save your organization some legwork, because there is something already here. Yeah. So and they do pay your salary for up to
480 hours.
480 hours a year, as long as you're being trained. So
Yep.
that's just another tool in your toolbox. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Definitely, yeah. And they're a really important partner for us, Three Rivers, and we are working with them currently. And so just really happy about the work that we've been doing with them thus far.
That's all I have.
Any other comments?
No, I'm just looking forward to hearing you again. We've got you lined up for another organization later
Yep.
this month, so
Yep.
We're gonna get you on the circuits. We need to hear, every organization, civic organization, needs to hear the good work that's going on in Southern Crescent. And we
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
And we
you.
look forward to our partnership with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner.
I can state from where I'm at, I would do joint enrollment. I started going to Gordon when I was 15, and it's the joint enrollment program. Unless you're distracted by playing football or something or some other big, like, everyone should take part in that
That's
joint
right.
enrollment program. You guys, College and Career Academy that is so awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That said, my resume looks amazing, right? I have all these awards and summa cum laudes and whatever. And my friend that went to then Griffin Tech and got a welding certificate has made more money than I will ever make. I will never catch up
Yeah.
to the amount of money my friend with a welding certificate has made. So 100% behind you guys. It is so, so important. You see folks that come in my office all too often and go, you know, like, I wish I had a different choice. Man, you have a different choice. It's right down the road.
That's
it's
right.
right over there.
We're state college.
I mean,
We have tuition.
You guys got a
that
film school.
is
It's freaking
supported.
rad.
Yeah, about a Hope
awesome.
grant, Hope scholarship. So there's a lot of opportunity, and we will help anybody that you send to us. But if you can just please spread the word about the college, because we are committed to supporting these communities, Spalding County, and our industry partners in this county. And that's each and every one of those business partners in the county, and please know that.
there was some talk, sorry to speak again, there was some talk about, speaking of that College and Career Academy, of getting like a mock trial team
court.
going.
Peer court?
No, the peer court is internal, like, so they can go and, it's like normally it's only done at, like, the law school or even like kind of pre-law level. But I know that some high schools, I think there's one or two in Clayton County and one or two in Henry County that have mock trial teams. But I know that through the College and Career Academy, they talked about getting one here. Neither of our current high schools have one, but I know that there's folks in our bar association that would love to help get that started. So I'll get them in touch with you.
Definitely, yeah, we have a paralegal program, that's right.
Okay. Keep knocking it out of the park,
Thank
Dr.
you so
Clark. We
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
the team, Southern Crescent. We got out there.
Item number 2, representatives from the Collaborative Housing Solutions, the developers for the Housing Authority, are here this evening to present. Dr. Ledbetter?
They are coming forward.
Come on.
Good evening. I'm Rochelle Patton. I'm the founder and president of Collaborative Housing Solutions. We're an affordable housing owner, developer, and consultant. I've been developing housing for about 29 years, been involved with the development or preservation of over 25,000 of affordable units over that time. I've had the great pleasure of working with Kim Walker here, who is the deputy CEO, as well as with Bob Dull, who couldn't make it here tonight, who's the CEO of the Griffin Housing Authority. I've been blessed to be able to work with them for about 11 years. I was their development consultant that helped them get the financing in place to redevelop the old Merriweather homes into 3 phases, as you all know, as well as the renovation of Fairmont Nine Oaks. So we come here today because this has been a long discussion between the Housing Authority and the county to redevelop part of the property that you all own by the historic Rosenwald School. We have been blessed by the Housing Authority to be their joint venture partner to help bring the financing and oversee the development team. And so we come here tonight asking to give you some information about the project, answer any questions, and then there are several requests that have come across that Commissioner Flower Taylor knows about. So first of all, we want to build up to 168 affordable apartments, targeting folks that are making up to 60% of the area median income. Here in Griffin, that's anywhere from about $32,000 to about $55,000. an annual salary. So these are oftentimes folks who work for the police department, fire department, teachers, people who work in our coffee shops, who work in county and local government. And what we're hoping to do is there's 3 parcels that we are hoping that you all would convey to the Housing Authority. And as part of that, 2 of those parcels came for a rezoning that you all blessed back in 2020. I'm coming to ask for some additional land to rezone to make the project financially feasible at a scale that works with our funders, as well as to ask for an overlay district to be applied to the 3 parcels. In addition, we hope to renovate the equalization building, the separate but equal building, as a community building that would have a community amenities for the residents, but also the larger community. So community rooms, spaces for community support services, meeting space that we'd certainly invite neighborhood folks to, as well as, you know, the folks that would live there. We've had productive conversations with Commissioner Flowers Taylor to try to get it right, to think about what amenities will be really tailored to, again, not just the residents there, but the broader community. I'm really excited because on all of our projects, we have a public art component. And so in our new community buildings, we have art from local artists. And because of the proximity, of course, literally right next to the new museum and the historic, history of what happened on this site, would want to have quite a few art pieces that represents the civil rights movement and all that's brought us all here today. So I'm just going to take a moment to step and show you the site that we're talking about. All right, so to get your bearings, this is Jefferson Street. Kelsey Avenue is here, Kelsey School's right up there, and again, the museum that's being renovated here, and the gymnasium here, and then this is the equalization building. So to get your bearings right now, this is vacant land right here. That was the old ball field, it was a football field a long time ago. And so what we would propose is to build 5 buildings altogether, 4 of them down in this area, and then 1 up there, also in the vacant area. What we certainly have a high priority for is to keep the walking path that has been part of this. We would need to redirect it, and we would pay for that. But to make sure to connect Jefferson Street with Haskell Ward Drive here, and be able to connect both sides of the property. Some of the other amenities we thought about is a playground, walking paths, as I've shared. In here, having an arts and crafts center, business center, again, community rooms, spaces for support service agencies. This would be sort of what might be considered Class A type of housing, be new construction with 40% of the exterior with brick. The other part of it would be hardy plank, that you see on most market rate housing today. We feel like this would be a wonderful place for folks to live and be able to access, the beautiful playground, the community garden, and then of course right to the north of it is the Housing Authority's renovated property, as well as whatever. I know there's been quite a bit of planning about the gymnasium. We'd like to really be a place where people can live and play and recreate, and really obviously education. Educate their kids and be able to really holistically serve the community. So we come here tonight because there's 3 parcels here. This parcel here, which I'll call parcel A, parcel B, and parcel C. I'm just making those up right now. It's these 2 parcels that were actually rezoned by an application that you all put in back in 2020. They're rezoned from institutional, which is what, of course, the old school was, to residential, HDRA. And so what you're asking for is that this parcel, parcel C, is currently also zoned institutional. So we ask for this parcel to also be rezoned to HDRA. And then in addition, all of this green area would have, what we're applying for would be an overlay district. Special Housing and Redevelopment Overlay District. It's a funny name, SHROD. But that allows us a lot of flexibility with setbacks and being able to build the number of units to serve the community well. I know also on the agenda is old business, that a while ago you all were looking at being able to enter into an option to convey for the housing authority to purchase this area at a nominal price. That option has been reviewed by your attorney. I know Commissioner Flowers Taylor has been aware of it and been part of the emails back and forth about that. And the idea was that the housing authority would continue to own the land if you all approved with this option, that when we're able to get all of our financing, if we're so blessed, we would find out our main source of financing at the end of this year. We would hopefully close on our financings next summer, start construction, and then be complete in fall of 2025. So it would be at that closing of construction where we would propose the conveyance would happen. So that would be, next summer, from the county over to the housing authority. At the same time, the housing authority would then enter into a long-term ground lease. So the housing authority continues to own the land long-term for 99 years. It enters into a long-term ground lease with a partnership between the housing authority and our organization that would build and own the buildings on top of it. So the housing authority would continue to own the buildings, but would also continue to own the land long-term and have, public control for the long term. So the requests specifically are for 3 rezoning applications. For these 2 sites, they've already been rezoned, but the city wants us to use the rezoning application form, so it's called a rezoning. It's really a rezoning for this site up here from institutional to HDRA, and then to the 3 rezoning applications to put this all under that overlay district that was specifically targeted for redevelopment areas like this. And again, to approve the option to purchase the property with the housing authority. And then finally, the city, once we go through the closing of the financing, we would need to subdivide, since right now, of course, all of this is owned by the county. As part of that subdivision, you will see that, the existing buildings that will continue to be owned and managed by the county, there is no setbacks, and of course, the city has certain setbacks, so would also want to have a variance on behalf of the county to be able to have 0 lot lines in order so that the buildings can be right up close to each other. Yeah.
Is that the equalization school, would that be the only place that would have the lot line issue?
And the
Yes.
gym.
Well, because.
Well, and then it with the gym and then it with the Rosenwald,
Right,
but
the
that
gym.
one building.
And the Rosenwald School, right?
But none of the other 5 buildings have setback issues as currently designed.
No, as long as the overlay is also approved. So if we were to try to move forward with this now, we would likely have some setback areas right here. But the overlay district allows there to be no setback requirements. It's really, site plan focused. And so as you can see, we're trying to preserve as much of the green space as we possibly can. We'll obviously be adding a lot of trees to the area, as well as trying our best to keep buffers on all sides to be good neighbors.
Why apartments and not the townhome style like you mentioned with the Merriweather project?
Sure. It really has to do with density and the ability to make the financing work. Unfortunately, construction costs have risen so high, and as most everybody knows, interest rates are significantly higher now as well. So to be able to secure the financing to develop this, we need the property to be at a certain density to be able to cover some of the transactional costs. More importantly, from a mission perspective, we know that there is a severe shortage of affordable housing for, the workforce, again, for police officers, firefighters, teachers, public service sector. And, you know, the tornadoes made it even worse. So for both mission reasons and for financial reasons is why we proposed apartments.
Did you mention the income being 50, I hear 55,000? Did you say that?
Yeah, it would be
30 to
capped
50.
at 60% of the area median
Okay.
income,
Okay.
depending on your family size. So for, you know, for an average family size, it would be somewhere between $32,000 to $55,000. Now, certainly, they all have to qualify and make a certain amount of money to pay their rent. So none of these apartments would have any project-based
Subsidies.
Section 8 on it. These would all just be, you know,
Market rate for,
at a certain level.
Right.
Right.
but affordable.
So they will have to support being able to pay their rent, and so there's certain levels, of course, they have to show income for.
Anybody else got any questions? I've looked at this thing, and my biggest concern, and I shared this with our attorney, is that we want to make sure that the product that is put there matches up with the development plans that we have for the Fairmont community, from Jefferson Street back to where the rec center is. So, for me, I think it's always a stickler for us to know what the architectural requirements are gonna be. Is it, is it gonna be green? Is it gonna meet the same requirements that, the Oaks has, I mean, I think that the landscaping and the yardage work is beautiful at the Meriwether Home Project. And for that reason, I'm, pro-housing authority. But I just, the issue for me is, design. Also, I'm not very friendly on the two driveways on Jefferson, the two driveway cuts.
Okay.
I just, that's only a short street, and you're gonna have two driveway cuts on one end, and then in less than a block, you'll have another driveway cut on the bottom. Just to allow for more green space in the area in the front. And then on the back side of the Rosenwall is basically where we are planning to have our detention pond area, which is clearly going to affect that one building, maybe, on the north end. So what I ask of our attorney is to help us with some language that would allow us to make sure that we're gonna meet a certain standard, even though I know you'll meet the city standard. That, Stephanie, tell them the words that I want coming out of my mouth.
So Rochelle and I had also discussed the fact that you might want to add some conditions to the option to purchase, knowing that once the option to purchase is executed, because this property is located within the city limits, you lose control over what actually is developed there. So the language that we would like to add would be that any conditions that specifically that the commissioners have, but also that aesthetically and architecturally, that it would be similar to the Meriwether Homes project.
Yes, and that's absolutely true. We will be using the same type of financing that's allocated by the State Department of Community Affairs, as well as bringing in private market equity investors and private commercial banks. So they have a very high level in terms of underwriting rigor. So that means that we will be financially sustainable for 30 years. But more importantly, the state has very high design standards, and yes, Stephanie, we would be amenable to agreeing to that similar type of design standard. We will be certified by the National Green Building Standards, which is a national green building program. I talked about already the facades with an amount of brick and hardy plank. Most of our materials have to be lasting for at least 20, if not 30 years. So we would be happy to enter into that type of language, Stephanie. Obviously, we need to look at the language, but from
Of course.
we have no problem.
And there is a new survey that is in the works that will more clearly define where the detention pond will be, such that that is completely on Spalding County property.
Great. And one other thing is that, you know, we are a private owner, mission-based private owner, partnering with the Housing Authority. So in terms of mission and commitment to the community, that will be long-term, because the Housing Authority, you know, obviously has proved that it can be good neighbors and really do well for the community. We also are not just the private landlords that can do whatever they want with their properties. We have the state agency that comes in annually to audit us. So they are doing physical inspections, they're inspecting our books, our tenant files, and so if there is a problem, we're gonna be having an audit finding, and we must, if we wanna continue to, you know, be part of this financing program and do the next project with the state agency, we do have to comply with that. So most, you know, market rate private landlords don't have that type of accountability and oversight. We also have our equity investors who have to make promises to their higher ups within our government, and so we'll make sure that you know, we're meeting the highest standard possible.
Rochelle, would you be opposed to including that mission statement in this option to purchase as well, just as maybe a prelude to all the whereases?
Sure, the mission statement of the Housing Authority, or what I just said?
Yours, yes.
Yes.
Did your organization have anything to do with the one on 362 that the city annexed in?
Yes, Griffin Village on Williamson Road.
Yep. Okay. Where's the water gonna go? So most of the time people come with us, there's like a retention pond and stuff. And I don't see one.
Well, we're gonna do some of it underground here, would be the main area, and then there are, I think there's plans behind this building right here.
To build a retention pond, or to, because there's wetland there right now, right?
That's right. So there are the streams, so this is, and of course, the survey will come and be more exact about it, but here's the stream, here is the buffer, and putting it so that there can't be any buildings in the wetland area.
It's 50 feet from the stream. Is it 50 feet? I'm looking at, looking at the design, and ideally, I think it works, but we also know that once you start looking at the survey and where the retention pond is gonna be, once we sign and convey this, we don't have any idea what it's going to look like.
We will not be recording this option without an exact legal description of the
Okay.
property, which is going to come from the new survey, which is
Okay.
in the works. What we have now is a subdivision drawing, and I think I provided this to y'all
Right.
a while back, but it is not exact. And Brian may be able to speak to this a little bit, but, because Jeremy is working on it for Paragon. But I know that it is in the works, and we're expecting that back in a couple of weeks.
Well, this is in my district, but it's also in, I think it's Cynthia's district from the city. And, I mean, she seems to be happy with it and not upset at all that we are asking about these design requirements. But, you know, the people that lost their homes recently are just families on top of the number that we already had. And when you say that if you started today, in 2.5 years, somebody will have somewhere to live, maybe those working class people will have moved somewhere else. So this is not a thing where I feel like I can say, no, we don't need housing. We certainly need affordable housing. We need work-class housing so that people who make money can afford to live in a decent place.
Yes.
You know, I'm okay with it, but I want the stipulations that allow us to be able to have some say-so about what the architectural design is gonna look like. They have their landscaping plan. I'm sure that meets whatever it is that the city says it has to do. And also the parking spaces for the equalization building, is that parking lot based on the square footage of that building, or are you just building us extra parking lot for Rosenwald? Just saying, I mean,
This is based on the zoning and what parking spaces we need to have with that.
okay,
The idea is, to keep, and I did want to go back and touch on, the access points on Jefferson. This is conceptual right now. We certainly need to engage in conversations with fire and safety. They will be the biggest drivers about the access.
okay.
So I hear what you're saying. I'd like to go back and talk to public safety about that, and then I can follow up with you about what they're gonna require.
I mean, on paper, it looks like it's a good sized space, but in comparison, it's really small.
I hear you.
So, yeah, whatever it is that the fire department says, clearly we'll have to follow that. But if I had my say, so it would be less impervious surface, because the more green space that you allow to be there, the better.
Absolutely.
And you are the applicants for the rezoning, because as the owners of the property, that, they can't be the applicant because they don't own it yet.
I'm seeing a lot of things that are missing, like where's the trash pickup gonna be? Where's the, there's a lot of things that when the community comes before us and says, this is what we want to build, it includes. And you guys have used every square inch of this that you can, and I'm not seeing a finished project. I'm super incredibly, unbelievably worried about the level of density. Again, the homes there on Meriwether work because the housing authority is so active there, and they have very, very rigid standards for the people who live there. And will those same, I'm going to use the term HOA kind of standards be here?
Definitely. So, same standards that we hold all the properties that we own, will be the same for this property, Just because it works.
It works. No, absolutely.
What we hold the residents, to is how we maintain the integrity of the property. We feel that this is a viable, project. It's much needed. We completed the rehab of, Fairmont in 2021. And in 6 months, in less than 6 months, it was completely leased up. We currently have a waiting list of around 3 to 5 years. So housing in that area, not just this area, but all of Britain, is much needed.
Yeah. The housing authority at Fairmont Homes is not market housing though, is it?
It is, it's affordable housing, so.
So, but I mean, because I remember that at some point, the federal government told the housing authority, anything that you build, you may allow some subsidy, but the bulk of the project has to be market. It has to pay for itself without the housing authority having to
Similar
pay.
to this project, residents there, have to have some type of income in order to live there, to, minimum even to qualify to move in.
There is rental assistance on that property.
On Fairmont,
On Fairmont.
Right.
Yes, ma'am, but
But-
not on this proposed project.
What's the rent that you're looking at?
Yeah, so it's based on, again, area median income, and it's also based on family size. For 1-bedrooms, we're looking at about $850. 2 bedrooms, we're looking at about $1,100, and for 3 bedrooms, $1,200 per unit per month.
And you said in order to qualify for it, they had to make at least 60% of the area's median income.
That's the maximum they can earn.
That's the maximum they can earn.
That's right.
So the Census Bureau says that their area's median income is $39,000. So the maximum that you're allowing them to earn is $23,400 a year.
No,
Help me
for
understand.
what I'm talking about is the metro Atlanta area median income. That's how the financing, and that's how the state agency requires, is not looking at.
So it's
just
not
that
our
amount.
area, it's
That's
No,
right,
we-
the greater Atlanta area's
That's
median
right,
income.
we're in the greater Atlanta area.
We're in the greater Atlanta area, so we get roped in.
So, I mean, I know people right now who are paying $1,200 for a one-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
So, because that's the thing right now, because you can charge whatever rent you want. When I was younger and had kids, I certainly couldn't afford to pay that. So, I think that it's very important. I think that this is a good first move. It would be wonderful. I hope that it works out fine so that there will be other developments here. But you can understand our caution in wanting to not quite take our hand off the pencil after we sign, you know, or vote on the conveyance, because, you know, we've had some bad situations where we didn't have any control. I trust that the city will require y'all to do what you need to do. But I would be very happy if you would take the time to come back to us and allow us to know what the survey says. And how will we be in touch with the procession of this as it goes forward?
Well, you are the applicant for the rezoning, so
So
that-
we'll end up going to the
Right, so
rezoning
you
hearing.
would go through to the rezoning hearing and be likely, you could be in the discussions. I mean, I would say you wouldn't want all
Okay.
of you to be, but in the discussions with city planning and zoning, with Mr. Jacobs regarding any conditions that they would require.
I just want to address a couple of matters that Commissioner Dutton had raised. First of all, Commissioner, just to clarify, the two sites that have already been rezoned, they were rezoned for 114 units. So we are putting the exact same number that the property is already allowed to build right now. We are simply adding this land up there.
And how many units are up there?
Right now, that's planned for 24 units. And then secondly, this is still conceptual. We did want to hear feedback from you all before we put every dumpster on this plan. Obviously, there'd be no way that we could get down the road and permit this without having, you know, necessary amenities and services.
Other questions for them? This is just a presentation to us, just to get us, so we're starting to move down the trail. All right?
Are they on our agenda
Yes, they
tonight?
are.
They are on our agenda tonight.
For the zoning and the overlay.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you all,
Dear.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 6, citizen comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting, provide their names, addresses, and the topics they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your remarks to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speakers will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend the rule.
Mr. Chairman, no one has signed up for public comment this evening.
Thank you. Item number 7, presentation and financial statements.
There are none this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Item number 8, consider approval of the minutes of the Spalding County Board of Commissioners Extraordinary Session and February 2023, and the Spalding County Board of Commissioners Zoning Public Hearing on February 2023 of 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I move to make a motion to approve the minutes as aforementioned.
All right, I have a motion, and I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion passes. Old business. Lift from the table and consider approval of the option to purchase the equalization school. This will enable the Griffin Spalding Housing Authority to obtain grants needed to complete this project. Do I have a motion to lift from the table?
So moves, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. All right. Dr. Ledbetter.
We've basically discussed everything that there is to discuss, Mr. Chairman, I believe, unless you have additional things that you would like to add.
All right, I think the essence of what we're talking about is making sure that whatever happens, we have it in the future. We know what we're going to do. We can't just allow things to go and then just walk away from them. It's our land now. We have a responsibility to make sure that in the writing of the stuff, that everything is written out to say, you can't do this, you can do this, and things like that. We all in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'd love to have an awesome project there, and but we haven't seen one yet. So I'd like before something gets built there, the ability to it come before us and to us to approve what gets built there. Again, I think it's going to have to come back before the city, but
Is that gonna stop us from rezoning, for the vote to rezone this? Is that gonna stop us from this? Are we giving up anything if we do that?
I don't, I personally, I don't want to step on the city's toes. They have their own requirements. The things that we're asking the developer to do are things that have been done at the Oaks, would have been done at the Merriwear Home projects, which has been done at the Senior Center and all the other renovated projects. So I have confidence, I have a lot more confidence knowing that the Housing Authority will be in a relationship with the developer for 30 years and that this project will be monitored as such with others.
There are, Commissioner Flowers Taylor and others, there are also recorded documents for those other developments that can be referenced in this option as well, to kind of tie those standards into this. But this is a concept plan, and because
Right.
it is located within the city of Griffin, so it is their,
Decision.
whatever's approved is their
Right.
decision.
Yeah, in the end, it's their decision. We just got to take them what we want to do with our land.
I wish I could share your confidence, but we've seen this city and this developer stand against the entire community, and 45 minutes of people sending emails, and I mean just a wave of overwhelming opposition, and them annex the area on 362 and build anyway. So I wish, I hope to be proven wrong, but what I've seen these people do with this city is something that this community has actively stood against, and yet here we are. Maybe it will be different this time, but I'd rather it be in part of, to use lawyer terms, I'd rather it be in the contract to prevent that from happening
So I'm not.
ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is that you want to prevent, because I thought the biggest issue was that people were concerned that their property values were gonna be decreased, having that apartment unit there, and that the train was gonna block people. None of it, as far as I can remember, reflected on the developer. And clearly the city was okay with it. It was a very ugly situation. A lot of us learned a lesson about what annexation is, and we'll pay attention to that when we go to training from now on. But that was a hard lesson for us, and I think going forward, as we move forward now, 362 will be built in 6 months. Where do they go? Okay, sorry. We will see the evidence of the landscaping, the driveway, the traffic, so we will have some idea, and of course, we will be going to the city for anything. So I think that they're prepared to do what we ask them that is reasonable. But I also think that we can't afford not to be looking 2 years out to provide housing in that community. If it's not built like we want it, you definitely won't get another one built, not from us, But I'm just simply saying, I think we have to look on the side that we really do need housing, and if we're babysitting this and it's 2 years out, we should be able to make sure that it meets the standards that we want for our part of the community. It's not ours, but Fairmont area, of what we're wanting it to look like in the future, and what kind of
That's our community as well.
population.
That's our community
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I guess having the housing authority behind this too says a whole lot. I mean, it really does. I mean, having their,
And the fact
because
that
they
are
do it
willing-
and they,
yeah.
you know, they,
Look, there were a lot of people that poo-pooed the Meriwether development, and, oh, it's, you know, it's gonna be, but the restrictions that the housing department, housing authority has put on there has, like, that's still a nice, that's
It's
a
the
really
place
nice,
that people
like,
want to live.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so, look, I just, I
It's
think
very
what's gonna.
easy to reference those in
Yeah.
this document as well.
okay.
And I think you're absolutely right, seeing what's gonna come in the next year from the 362 project, like, but I don't want all of our green lights to be given and no longer have control, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, what did they
I
do
think
out
we
there? They're
all
gonna do this thing.
totally agree
You know
with
what I
that.
mean? Like, I have concerns, I think we're still behind the wheel right now, and we just need to be able to stay behind the wheel so that we can make sure that it's driven in the right direction, which, from what they're saying, is not the direction that they don't wanna go in. Like,
Yeah.
they're saying we all wanna go in the same direction. I would love for that to happen, but I mean, I hate to be the one, you know, trauma survivor from growing up next to Waterford, and then promising one thing, and then, you know,
Yeah,
getting
totally
a totally
get it.
different, you know? So
Totally
I hate to be the guy
understand.
who's like, you can't trust them, but like,
You have to be that guy.
Yeah.
Well, we
It's
need to
okay.
be those,
yeah.
we need to be
have
those.
at least one of those guys that's asking
All right.
that
You're
question.
it.
So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to arrange to convey the named property at, that we talked about, and to convey an option to purchase the equalization school when it is completed, and with the stipulations for architectural design as referenced in the other development.
And also to
To
include
rezone.
the applications for rezoning.
Also, my motion would be to complete the rezoning to, from, to HDR
Yes, from
1A.
Institute to HDRA, or something like that.
Michelle, did we say that right?
Yes, to HDRA, yes.
And we don't have to do the Shrod, that's the city, right?
We do.
The application, and if you are
Okay,
We have to include that
okay,
overlay.
to include the Shrod,
Yes.
which is a special housing, district that would allow them to have the units, numbers that they have.
so does that motion also cover the rules for residents that Meriwether had, like the other projects has? Does that-
Yes.
Same,
Yes.
same,
Is that, I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the right terminology.
yeah.
Yes, so my notes indicate that I should reference the Meriwether Homes recorded documents.
I'll second.
Okay.
Did we
Any-
get everything that we're supposed to be trying to make a motion about?
Aesthetically and architecturally similar to Meriwether Homes project, pursuant to those design standards, indicating that they are a National Green Building Standards certified company, to include their mission and commitment based on based on the private ownership, not just the Griffin Housing Authority, but the private developer, to make sure that any buffers are 50 feet from streams, which they're gonna be required to have that anyway. And, they will discuss with fire and safety regarding the dual access on Jefferson. That's just a note. I don't think that's something that
Yeah.
we would include.
Okay,
All right, that's my motion, so long.
okay.
I'd already seconded.
And that's already a second. All right, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion passed. Good job, Michelle, thank you. All right,
We'll be watching 362.
you betcha.
We won't be.
Riding out there.
Item number 10, consent agenda. The two items on the consent agenda are contracts that were approved by the board at the zoning public hearing on February 23, 2023, based on a request for bids. I will read both of the items that are on the agenda. Consider approval of a contract for debris removal from Debris Tech
LLC, the low bidder on the RFP. This is the second reading, so everybody understands why we're doing. Consider approval of the master service contract and task order form number 1 for Godwin, Mills, and Cakewood LLC for consulting services, recording time, and filing the paperwork for FEMA, insurance, HUD, and other sources of funding for reimbursement of cost incurred as a result of the January 12th, 2023 tornado event.
Mr. Chairman, may we take both of these at one time?
Yes.
Motion to approve item 1 and 2 of the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you. New business. Consider renewal of the misdemeanor probation contract for the Spalding County Superior Court with Judicial Correctional Services, LLC, JCS. Dr. Ledbetter.
So I did have a conversation with Judge Thacker, and he did assure me that he is very pleased, as is Judge Sams, with this contract, and he was making recommendation for approval for continuance of the contract.
And your position is?
My position is that we continue with the contract for the misdemeanor probation.
This does have a way to get out of the contract in case the situation on the floor changes, right?
That's correct.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir. Motion to approve misdemeanor probation contract for the Spalding County Superior Court with Judicial Correctional Services for 1 year.
1 year.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, consider approval of the concept report for State Highway 155 redesignation as prepared by Heath Linebacker Engineers Incorporated. Dr. Ledbetter.
I believe Brian Upson is with us this evening. Welcome, Brian.
Welcome back.
Hey, Brian.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good. It's nice to have you back here.
It's nice to be back. Dr. Ledbetter, good to see you back.
Good to be back. Thank you very much.
Tonight, I'm here to present the State Route 155 concept report that was prepared by Heath and Lineback. This project's been ongoing about 18 months. It's been a long process. I think each of you have a copy of that or electronic copy of it.
Yes.
And I trust that all of you have read 424 pages of it.
You'd be surprised.
Anyway, I'm going to be very brief tonight. This is the first phase of moving forward to get the redesignation of 155 from downtown Griffin. And the way this project has come about is local interest. Downtown, the LCI project that was completed 18 months ago, so has been prompting this for years, but we are so far behind the curve with getting GDOT approval on this that we are just now moving into the first phase completion of this project. Kathy, can you do that other PDF? To give you some background, this is very hard to see, but this is a larger scope project, and the reason I'm talking about it is to give you the background of what GDOT is looking at very long term. The line you see in red there is the project that we're talking about tonight. That's the 155 redesignation along North McDonald Road, and then it'll turn down State Route 16 and go cross 16. So the white dash line is the existing State Route 155 route that goes through downtown. If you'll move that up a little bit. Okay, that is the first phase of the Griffin bypass as designated by GDOT. And so that's why GDOT has interest in this project. Otherwise, they really wouldn't have a big interest in doing one section. If you move down a little bit more, Kathy. Okay, you see the blue line to the left. For some reason, that is phase 2 of the bypass. And Phase 2 goes from Moreland Road at 1941 and goes up Rover Zetella and ties into State Route 16. So theoretically, the red would be built first, which is North McDonough Road from Jackson Road down to State Route 16. Second phase would
Hold on,
be,
when you say built, like, I mean, it already exists. Are they gonna widen it and make it a 4-lane? Like, what's the built?
well, this is 2050 we're talking about. So I'm telling you, planning-wise, what's being planned. There's a whole lot of things that's got to be done, but on their paper, that's what they're proposing today. So,
If we
second
don't plant
phase,
the seed today, the tree won't grow.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
if we
you
don't,
better
if
have
we don't,
project-ready stuff.
if we don't follow the plan, we don't get phase 1 done. So that's what we're after currently. So the blue would be built second. And then finally, the connector, which is the yellow line, which would go from State Route 16, South McDonough Road, County Line Road, back to Moreland Road, would be phase 3 of this bypass. So just giving you background on this. I'm not saying this is happening anytime in
That's
our lifetime.
in anybody's lifetime in this room, probably. But anyway, just to give you background of how we are moving our project forward is we're latching on to the state's
Plan.
long-term plan. So if you'll pull that other one up. So we got funding from ARC a couple of years ago. They funded 80% of this concept study. The study was $312,000, I believe, and ARC funded 80% of that. So this study created a concept plan that will now be sent to GDOT upon your approval. And that study identified 5 options. The first option was the current North McDonough Road route at a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Second option was an eastern route, which you see in orange, that routed out on new land, not an existing road, and looped back into North McDonough before State Route 16. Third route was a western route, which followed the State Route 155 down to a point, turned into that purple new road, and tied back into State Route to North McDonough. And then the fourth option was what they call the airport road, which followed the existing State Route 155 down to around Kennedy Road and proposed a new road around the airport property, tied back in at Wild Plum in 16. And then the final option, which came up very late in the process, was GDOT requested an option at 55 miles an hour on North McDonough Road. So that ended up being the GDOT preferred option because of the 3 phases. They want this to be a continuous speed limit across all 3 phases.
Yes.
Right. So this plan tonight has a lot of background information, a lot of traffic analysis, pavement analysis, environmental that you can read if you can't sleep at night, but it has a lot of background information. But in a nutshell, this report recommends that GDOT continue to move forward with the North McDonough Road at 55 miles an hour to make this the next phase.
Is the North McDonough Road that's north of the 4-way stop, is that speed limit 55?
Yes.
It is
Yes.
55.
155 coming down there is 55 until we get to Jackson, and then it turns into 45.
Yeah, it's when it's designated as State Route 155 North, it's 55.
Okay.
And that's the issue that GDOT brings up. They say our highways, we want them to be 55. We're not going to break it down into 45 and then go back up to 55 on either end of it.
Yep.
Well, in terms of course, I know we can't tell GDOT what to do, but in terms of options, it never occurred to me that they could go into some of that acreage that's off to the east and actually just build a completely new road and not affect the people on McDonough Road at
Well,
all.
that's
I mean,
part of this
something-
study is they have to go and look at options.
Right.
That would not affect the current road, but when you look at cost, when you look
Yeah.
at environmental, then it was not,
Feasible.
it wasn't
Yeah.
feasible based on their criteria.
I'm surprised that they didn't put I guess it didn't make the cut, the proposal for the connect that will take you over to either McIntosh and get you back to 19 and 41. On the last, I think on one report that I saw, there
That
was
was
talk
on
of a
the-
bypass.
That was on the freight cluster study. They had
Okay.
an option going on the north side as a bypass, but that was only the
Just for freight.
consultant that decided that. This is actually coming from
the
GDOT.
state.
Yeah.
They'll give it that way.
And they,
I'm gonna be dead.
they've briefed this to us a number of times so far, one. Two, if you looked at the documents and went through them ad nauseum, you got to see exactly, and we're talking about culverts, edge of roads and stuff like that, that all have to be looked at, elevations up and down to be able to do this. This is a major project, as you can see by the time frames we're talking about.
So we're actually agreeing to the whole phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We're doing all of that.
No, we're only
just-
talking about the phase one.
Okay.
But we have to talk about all phases for you to understand why
Okay.
GDOT is interested in pursuing this route.
Like, are they asking us to pick an option? Or are
No.
they just saying?
No.
They'll pick what they want.
No,
They-
they've already picked.
They're
And
asking
they
us,
also set the speed
they're
limits,
asking
like
you
we saw
to,
last month. Why are they coming asking us?
well, they're asking you to approve the study that they recommended, the final recommendation, basically.
The contractor came through and said, this is what we recommended. Originally, so that you understand, he originally said 45. And the GDOT staff said, ho, back up, we think that it should be 55. And there was a huge issue, but in the end, this is the 55 mile an hour to be able to do this. This is big money, long-term, to be able to, and it needs to be done. We've got to get trucks out of the city.
Yeah.
So there's not much doubt about it. And the big plan of the ring around is really a Savannah issue. It's trying to get trucks and all that stuff, so
Around
they're
the
not,
city.
if you drive through 16, if you sit on 16 in the middle of the city and watch the trucks going through, we want to try to move some of those trucks around so that they're not going through our city center all the time. So,
And the expected cost today for that project is, for the recommended project, is $33,359,000.
That's for phase 1,
Yes.
and they could pay 80%?
Well, GDOT may pay more than 80 if they turn it into a state project.
probably, our answer is it's 100%. They're going
Yeah.
to pay for it all.
Okay, then, I like it.
All right.
So-
This is a good thing as far as we're concerned. They've done huge amounts of study to be able to do it. Your recommendation there,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Upson?
As the transportation planner, I recommend that this project be approved so we can submit to GDOT for their approval.
Okay?
And then, can I say this
Second.
real quick?
Yes.
Once we get an approval, we will move to the next phase, and we will know the cost of that next phase, and then we will go to ARC and ask for money just like we asked for this phase. So until we get it approved by GDOT, we won't know, what they're gonna come back and approve. So
Okay.
we won't know the cost of that, but we will work with a consultant on that.
Okay, all right. And Dr. Ledbetter, your staff?
Yes, my recommendation is that we move forward with this as a consideration for approval. And
All
I
right.
think you actually have a motion and a second on the table.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue to work, both of you, on this. This is a big deal for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Item number 3, consider discussion regarding impact fees for Spalding County. Dr. Ledbetter.
Yeah, I believe you have received the information for the impact fees that was sent out. Unfortunately, Ms. Paige Hatley could not be in attendance this evening to provide some additional information. But one of the things that she and I discussed on Friday afternoon was to schedule a workshop so that we could walk through all of the scenarios that she had presented for our impact fees. And if you remember, our consultants, specifically for our capital improvement element, when we were walking through our comp plan, was Paige Hatley and Bill Ross. And Bill Ross was instrumental in the state of Georgia. He actually wrote the legislation for the capital improvement element and put into play the impact fee study and the percentage allocation for each of the criteria for the impact fee. And I think it would be very beneficial for us as a board to sit down with them and let them walk us through all of that discussion one more time. We already walked through it once back in November, but I think it would be very beneficial because of some of the information that was presented back from the discussion when Henry County voted their impact fee in. And I just want to make sure that we have all of our questions answered as we move forward. In addition to that, one of the things that Paige Hatley indicated when she was here last was that roads and other areas of opportunity were not placed in our impact fee analysis for this time during our comp plan, but she and Bill both indicated that they would be available this coming summer to add those on as an addendum for us moving forward. And I think that there would be some other areas of opportunity, maybe the animal shelter or some other areas that we could consider for our impact fee. But my recommendation to the board is for us to hold a workshop with Paige Hatley and Bill Ross to make sure that we're in complete understanding and agreement for how to present our impact fees moving forward.
How long will that take?
They would be available, I think she said, week after.
2 hours? Is this?
Oh, yeah. It would not take a very long amount of time to do that. Maybe 2 hours for them to make presentation and answer questions
And
for us.
could we also ask that they bring any type of statistical information from Henry County since they've
Yep,
actually did
they will
their-
do that. In
Okay.
fact, I have some of that information this evening that I received from her over the weekend, and I will present that to you guys for consideration.
All right, we have zoning on the 23rd.
That's correct. I'm not sure she can make it on the 23rd. I think the 3rd was the first that she would be able to make it.
Okay. All right, let's bring that up. Everybody start looking at your calendars. We've got 2 or 3 things. I want to look at calendars a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay?
So, motion, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to table, we were just gonna discuss tonight.
Yes, that's all.
Okay.
Nothing else needed. We just decided we're going to
Okay.
do workshop.
No action, okay.
All right. Item number 4. Consider approval of a resolution to submit the annual updated report for the CIE.
That's the impact fee too?
It is the transmittal resolution. It does not have the schedule for the fees inside of it. The Department of Community Affairs asked us if we would provide them with what they considered a clean resolution. So previously, we had sent it to them that it was a comp plan and the CIE, and they asked us to separate the CIE from the comp plan, and that's what is before you this evening. It is the same language. It's just a clean resolution to ask the Department of Community Affairs to adopt our CIE.
But they already adopted it when we submitted it with the comp plan.
They did, but they did not list it as green on our dashboard on the state website. And when I had the conversation with Miss Julie Yoder, she asked if we would re-adopt it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution to resubmit the annual update report of the CIA to DCA.
Thank
All
you.
right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask, County Manager, when we do get this back, I would somehow like to be able to see, you know, this is where we are, these are the impact fees, we are collecting 15% of what is allowed. And this is what it looks like if we're collecting 25, or we're collecting, because I think those numbers will resonate better than a lot of this information, because all of this is based on different stuff that doesn't necessarily match ours. So I just kind of like to see something like that in the breakdown. I mean, it tells us here, but it doesn't, you have to do the math, and I don't want to have to do that.
And it is a big issue, you know, with developers. Let's make sure we understand what we're talking about. This is a developer issue. When we start raising this, developers start backing back out or having to refigure profit issues. So we've got to make sure that what we're doing is what we exactly want to do. And if we decide we want to raise the bar, the numbers are going to look different than what we could say just because it's Henry County is doing it. So this is a big...
It costs us in the end.
Yes. So what do we want to accomplish with this number, other than just a dollar issue coming back into us? So
The work session's good.
yeah, wrap your head around it. We've got time to be able to do that, but we've got to get it done. And secondly, we're going to, when we do this, it will be effective immediately. So anything that's in the pipeline will go through the way it is, but anything that is not in the pipeline will be changed to start moving forward.
Right, any new applications?
Yes. All right. Item number 5, which was an added item, if you remember, to the agenda. Consider issuing a letter and resolution to Senator Ossoff and Congressman Drew Ferguson in support of the new Spalding County Airport.
Yes.
All right. We all have, I think everybody had did everybody have an opportunity to look at it?
Yes,
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. And we hope that Dr. Randy Peters has great success with this when he goes forward to try to get additional funding for us. All right. At this time, it is an opportunity to have the returning county manager's report.
So I'm going to make my report very, very quick this evening. I just want to say thank you to each one of you for your support and prayers over the last month and a half. Health is always paramount for any opportunity, and regardless if you're an athlete or
County manager.
county manager, that's right. Health is important. And I just want to say thank you for your prayers and your support. I want to say thank you to the community for your prayers and support. It's good to be back. Today is my first day back in seat. So it's a privilege to be here. So I'm doing a little bit of catch up. So please forgive me, but in 2 weeks I will have a much better county manager report. So thank you for your support.
All right. Commissioner Johnson?
Welcome back, Steve.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Me too.
We missed you.
I
You
missed
look
y'all.
good.
Thank you.
I want to confirm, okay, so March 20th is the drop dead date for FEMA. Is that correct? Are they going to be out of here March 20th?
The 17th and the 20th are the 2 dates, SBA and closing of DRC, the Disaster Relief Center. You can still call in, still do online to be able to put in some, but they're getting to be fairly small amounts of people walking in there now to be able to do it. It's not really worth their time. We will continue on for the rest of this week with our call center, and then the call center will roll over and it'll be handled differently, but we won't have volunteers on duty doing the call center.
Okay, all right. So the senior center will be open through they'll be there still, okay.
Yes.
I want to thank DeAndre for actually really posting that out there on Facebook and kind of giving those timelines and information. I've been sharing those out because I have had a few questions. So I want to confirm that date, so thank you for that.
Yes.
And I thought it was a great presentation that Southern Crescent Technical College brought before us. Dr. Clark and myself both serve on the Georgia Regional College and Career Academy, and we got a chance to hear the PowerPoint from Georgia Power, which was exceptional.
and they really honed in on workforce development. I mean, I think that is a huge piece that our community, I'm not gonna say is missing, but we're getting it, and we just need to do a better job to get this to the parents, to the kids, to understand that there's other opportunities out there. Not everyone, should go to a four-year college. And then if you don't, then there's other things that you can do to still make the same amount of money, if not more. You talk about welding and, that is available. And I wish that it was available 20 years ago. But I mean, the fact that we're in a community now that can really benefit from it, I'm excited about what the future holds for that. So, I guess that's all I have to say for now.
Okay. Commissioner Bolden?
Again, welcome back, Mr. Steve. Thank you. Don't be hard-headed, take it easy. I know how you are. But we got a lot of stuff in the works we gotta get done. Number one, I'm gonna say it as usual, code enforcement.
Gotcha.
Number two, the animal control has kind of been helping me out today, done an awesome job. We had a mess out there on the west side that kind of continued from a previous mess we had a while back. So I'd like to thank Tyler and Miss Stephanie and everybody for helping on that, getting that cleaned up. That's about all I got then.
Okay. Commissioner Flowers Taylor?
I got nothing. Welcome back, Steve.
That's a great one. Vice Chair?
I'm gonna start at the same place. Welcome back, Steve. Glad to have you. Take it easy. We appreciate that you're full steam ahead, but
Yes.
take it easy. Yeah, the animal shelter, they're really doing a great job. The folks we got out there, the staff out there are, fantastic. But they need a lot of volunteers. And the volunteers aren't cleaning up dog poop. The volunteers are, hey, can you come and play with these cats for an hour? Like, what awesome volunteer work you could do. Hey, can you go out in our yard and play with these dogs? And that counts as community service. I've spoken with our state court judge about allowing 2-for-1 credit for if we get into bad situations, there's too many animals. When I spoke to him last year, we weren't at a third of where we're at now. I think that we should encourage all those cats to give 2-for-1 credit so that we get more folks to come out and really help there, because we're in an emergency situation still there. There's a lot of folks that, we're trying to find homes for people, but all their animals are still just in cages right now. So, see, I took some notes. So, again, that goes back to the whole raise the bar stuff. So, I think raising the bar, we can make a direct, we can physically get that bar and physically raise it with impact fees. Like, it's literally a direct, we want this level of, development. So again, I'm all for how high would they let us. That said, just to give some updates on some of the movements from the judicial side of things, we've been working on transforming the jail courtroom so that it will be available. Right now we do preliminary hearings over there, and we do some hearings in the state court, but just not a lot, and it costs a ton to move inmates to and from, just a ton, and there's safety concerns in moving these folks. So we've developed a plan to renovate that courtroom to make it a lot more usable and to be able to get court done a lot faster there, so that, again, instead of having deputies stand in their courtroom, they can go and watch and stuff. So we've got one more judge who I haven't spoken to. Otherwise, we're at 100% judicial support for that. So
Thank you.
He's been in trials, so I can't get to him. The same thing though. We've got the first floor of the courthouse right now, and this is a big empty space, and I'm getting a lot of, hey James, what are we doing? Hey James, when are you gonna build a new court? Hey, so now that the tax office is out, we need to start moving on that. At the same time, I think we can make even better use of the space at the new tax office. Spoken with some other folks today about how we can better use some of the other county properties and, hey, this office is big and grand, but I really need more storage. Can we make my office smaller and, you know, and this kind of stuff. And it, you know, it's moving drywall, so it might not be a project for me, but it's certainly a project for TJ and his cats. Maybe they can, you know, and I just think there's some low-hanging fruit that will let us shift a little bit, and we should put that into this coming year's budget so that we can really maximize what we've got. Let's see. As far as the new courthouse as well, you know, right now we've got 5 Superior Court judges, and we have the caseload for a 6th. And with our current caseload of state court, right now, if you just look at the amount of state court cases that we did last year, normally we average somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000. That is more than enough to justify a second state court judge. But just from June to December, they issued 36,000 school zone speeding tickets. Okay? So add that to the 9,000 we've already got. How many more state court judges are we? So I know it came up a few years ago, and we unanimously passed it. Pike unanimously passed it, and Upson unanimously passed it, and it actually never came up for a vote at all in Fayette. But I haven't put the idea to bed of splitting Fayette County away and making it its own circuit, and then the 3 lower counties being our own circuit. That would leave us with 2 Superior Court judges, which, if you look at the case division, would make pretty good sense, leaving them with 3 and us with just 2. Then there's precedent, of course, for it all over the state, but right next door in Henry County split away, and Butts, Lamar, and Monroe became their own circuits, and 3 Superior Court judges stayed in Henry, and 2 went down to the lower 3, and it worked just fine. And we're in that exact situation, if not even more so. There's support for it now. There wasn't before when it came up from our Chief Superior Court judge. There is now. We have a new Chief Superior Court judge, and he takes a different attitude towards it, and I think there's a growing demand for it in Fayette County as well. For that to happen, we have to get one of our state folks, Karen Mathiak, David Knight, somebody, to ask whichever group it is, I forget their name. All they have to do is ask to do the study, and the study gets done. Like, they don't have to vote, there's no money, they just go, hey, we do these studies all the time, can you do this study? And they have to ask by like June 1st or something, and then that study is done that year. And then in the next time the General Assembly is meeting, like, it can come up. I want to sort of get a consensus that that's still something that we want to do, and I can go, and permission sort of to go and talk to Pike County and Upson County again and see if just like we did 5 years ago now, has it been so long, to come out in support of that. And then and I think they are, like last time I kind of talked to everybody, they're like, yeah, why didn't that happen? But I didn't want to do it without chatting with everybody first. So I think we're all still in the same spot.
Yeah, I think, move forward to get the study ready to go, to be able to do it. Once we get the study, then we'll
Well,
talk about it some more. But yes,
If I get green lights from them, we'll have to come back here, and then
yes.
we'll vote, sort of like sending a letter
Yep.
to like, hey, in favor of, and then
Yep.
we'll get Pike and Upson
Get
to
the,
do the same thing.
move forward on it, yes.
Where are we at for the MLK parade redo? Are we gonna
I
integrate that in
asked-
with the Juneteenth parade? What, I mean,
No.
What do we
You
think?
know who, I asked,
Cheryl Brown.
Cheryl Brown, and I think I gave her your phone number to call you, but I will call
I
them.
text her about it and then the
I'll
turnaround.
call her back,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, it was a tornado, okay, I'll call her back.
Okay. I just don't lose
Because,
track on
yeah,
that. That's important.
Juneteenth is 2 months, so that should, okay,
Yeah, and you, like, as someone who's done parades, it takes,
oh, that much time.
no, it takes
And
8
And then you have
months
the
to
4th of
make-
July there too, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I will, I'll
Yeah,
remind you.
okay.
And the last thing, just thanks for being patient with me tonight, for being late. Sorry, I was in
Good, you had to.
municipal court in Greenville. Their municipal court starts at 5 PM.
Jeez. Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Thank you. All right, I've got a number of items tonight, so everybody, we've been asked to bring your book back in. They'll redo the tabs and get it properly done, so I had that. All right. Item number 1, Archway. I think Archway's at a crossroads, and we need to take some time to decide on what we're going to do about Archway among ourselves. First, I think the return on investment. I gave everybody the answer on what that looks like, which is pretty traumatic. I think the communications part that plays in Archway is very, very good. I think we must push the issue on funding partners. It can't just be, here it is 8 years later, and it continues to be the same 3 that we have done. And I think we've got to continue to push on that and say, hey, step up to the plate, those of you that that want to play. Lastly, I have gave the Archway at the executive committee that we support Archway as a commission, so that we're all trying to figure out where we're going from here. We have a couple decision points to make, and we'll come back and talk to everybody about that. Commissioner Johnson, comments or anything you
No,
want?
just-
Okay.
Maybe smiled about Dr. Clark being here. I thought, you know, he really wants to be partners. I mean, if he really wants to be a partner, he can be a partner.
Yep, and there-
That's him in GRC.
Yeah, right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
all right.
You didn't hear me say that, Dr. Clark.
Next is retreat dates. I believe we want to do this quickly. We're a little behind the power curve for us, our normal procedures. Trying to do it in the next couple of weeks with those that are on work schedules is a little bit awkward for everybody. I'm proposing 18th of March to be able to, that's a Saturday, to be able to say, let's get together and do it starting at normal 9 o'clock or something like that, and be able to do it. Is that date basically work?
I can't.
Excuse me. All right. How about the 25th? I'm looking for, trying to pull people out, the 3 of you that work, trying to say during the week, hey, take a day off and in a short period. I'm deeply concerned with.
I might be able to swing a Friday.
I'll be in Virginia on the 25th.
What about
I might be
I
able
can do
to
the
swing- I might-
24th.
Can you swing a Friday, James?
Yeah, I can do the 24th. If I don't have court, I can do the
I'm gonna
24th.
be able to do the 24th as well. If I know in advance, I could swing the 24th.
24th? Just a minute, I'm pulling up my calendar also. How does the 24th look for everybody?
Looks good for
I'd
me.
much rather.
I'm wide open.
Just a second, I'm pulling, I haven't quite got there yet.
Well, if that's the case, what about, well, the 17th, are you good the 17th, Stephanie? That's really coming up.
17th on
I got all kinds of court on those.
the, okay. All right, 24th, county manager,
I'm good with the
Or the 31st.
attorney?
I can be there
Probably,
till
yeah.
4 o'clock at the latest. 4
Okay.
o'clock in the
Yeah.
Good on that? All right, everybody else?
24th?
All right. Steve will take it from here and run it and give us the dates, and I mean, the times and everything else. But the 24th, we're doing it on the 24th. This is probably different than before. This is more of us with you talking, okay? I want to reinforce, we have to come up with a solution for code enforcement. Somewhere, we've got to come up with what we're doing about it. And this is going to be a tough conversation with a number of players, and we've got to decide and start moving forward to it. Next
Let's
is,
see if we can get those players there.
yes, get them all in the room and say, hey, I want to, next item on the 4th item is welcome back. It's good to have you next to me.
Thank
It's good to have you back taking care of our county. You heard Vice Chair talk about using people that are on probation and stuff like that, doing community service. It really requires us to simply have not a CO, but anybody can do it, i.e. an intern. We get a vehicle, and we get those 6 to 8 people to be able to do code and pick up trash, walk dogs, play with cats. They need to have stuff to do. We've got an opportunity. We probably need a waiver for the vehicles and stuff like that, but we can turn around and get those people. Yes, walk them start on this intersection and get to the next intersection. Doesn't have to do anything fancy. Next item, the disaster. My personal best bet is that no matter how we do it, if we do it absolutely perfect and all the dominoes align and the stars align, we're still going to lose a couple $1 million out of our budget that will not be replaced. It's going to have a huge impact in FY24, starting 1 July. We all need to be able to start thinking about how we're going to overcome that, considering everything else that we've got going on, i.e. Jail for $30-40 million, courthouse, $30-40 million. We signed a thing today for the airport, $30-40 million to be able to do those big items to do it, and we're talking about $2 million we're going to be short in our budget that next year. Time frame is still a long ways off. Today we were briefed on the collaborative working Spalding County volunteers. Last time we had them working, they spent 2 years trying to take care of long-term people to be able to do something. After FEMA is gone, they're going to be in it again. They're getting donors to give them money, and they're picking up money pretty quickly to be able to do it. Time frame is still a long ways away from us to being able to do it. It's a long ways still for us to get all our wood picked up and all of that stuff. We are just now starting on the second iteration, which is materials that we, construction materials, yes. People,
There's still plenty of wood to pick up too, though.
yeah, they have wood to pick up and everything else. They're starting to get ready to come to us and say, on this date, we're going to tell you these streets are clear. If you've got something on them, we need to be told.
And Mr. Chairman, also, if people have trees and debris that's on the side of the road and nobody has been by, they need to call in, because someone should have been by at least once
First
by
cut,
now.
yes. County Manager, I'd like to have us have a short review on how we're doing with the people we moved into DFAX, the old DFAX building, for those people. It's a new building for them. Before, some of them had law enforcement, the sheriff out there with them, sheriff's people, the deputies out there with them, and all of a sudden, they've got large sums of money. So I'd like to have us have a review on what that looks like.
Okay.
So everybody knows there's a bill in the General Assembly to, what's the words for Sunnyside?
They will be transitioned from a corporation city to a historic township.
That will take them out, so we will end up with 2 cities, 2 municipalities, the city, Griffin and Orchard Hill. So it will go through, it will happen. It's just a matter of processing it through, but I didn't want anybody to be caught off guard if that's happening. Next issue is T-Splosh. Where are we on T-Splosh?
Great question. Please forgive me for not updating that earlier. The pre-bid for our next iteration of resurfacing of roads will occur this Thursday. So kudos to Brian Upson and TJ and the whole Public Works team for getting us ready. I think you guys started back in November getting us ready for this iteration. We have included I believe the first 7 or 8 roads in year number 3 as an option should we come back to you with lower prices like we did last year. So we'll be in good shape this year moving forward for our T-Splosh.
This is a big hit with our citizens, in my opinion, and we're doing good stuff for the county. As I remember, the GDOT, they just sent us LMIG numbers, and the number was 650 total miles of roads. That's both paved and unpaved in our county. And then they will give us money, LMIG money, to be able to supplement our T-Splosh to be able to do that. Before, this has usually been 3 miles, so it's not very much to be able to do it, but every little bit helps to be able to get that for us. I'd like to say to the citizens, if you have ideas that you think a better way for us to do business, we are surely open to those. Please pass those in to us, get them to the county manager. We will look through and try. We are working hard to do things better as we go along. It takes a village to do all of this, in my opinion, so if you've got good ideas, please don't hesitate to be able to pass those in to us. We have a number of personnel actions. We're getting ready to bring on board our Planning and Development Director, which will be a big boon for us. Then we have 2 other critical places that we're talking about. First is the Assistant County Manager that we have to get moving on. And secondly is the impending retirement of our administrative director, Jenna, who is also our CFO, and we need to be able to get that done. For scheduling of events, we need the board training date, your class on all of that to be able to do. We've had a number of intersections looked at. What's the status of, are we moving on intersections that people have asked us to do something on?
We are, Mr. Chairman. TJ and I had a conversation last Thursday, and there are a number of intersections that we are working on. They're already in the pipeline, and they're being scheduled right now. Campground Road and Moon Road, both sides for putting a resurface apron down for that intersection. Campground Road in West Ellis, Hickory Hill Road and Tri-County Road, Hickory Hill Road northbound lane at Tri-County Road, Brooks Road and Tri-County Road, both sides. Proposal for the resurfacing and asphalt of aprons at Hereford Farm Road and Rehoboth Church Road, Ellis Dairy Road and Rehoboth Church Road, Weldon Road and East McIntosh Road, Weldon Road and Smoke Road. And then we're working on the realignment for Jenkinsburg Road and Jackson Road. So all of those are currently in the schedule, and you'll start seeing some work on those here in the next month or so.
Super.
Jenkinsburg is not a transportation splash project, it's a regular public works project. isn't it?
That's correct. It's just, all of these are just regular public works projects.
Normal projects that we've been working on them for a while and talking about them, and now we're coming to fruition with the plans coming in. Last time we met, I said thank you, congratulations to Ms. Johnson for being the elected office, being the best elected official. And then this follows up with this time being the cover person in the Griffin Daily News for the month. So another congratulations. Her hand is getting tired autographing all the different things that are going on. Last item for me on the a personal note for those of you that are out in the audience and can't see, I'm wearing a tie that is St. Patrick's. So everybody knows that St. Patrick's Day is on the 17th, and we won't be able to, we won't have another meeting before the 17th. That's a special day for me because 50-plus years ago, my wife said yes on that day, and I celebrate the heck out of it, and I wanted everybody to know that that's the best day, one of the best days of my life when she said yes. So I love you. All right. Any other comments?
I just want to say thank y'all for allowing the Griffin High School girls to use Big Blue and we hope that they win the championship Wednesday.
Amen.
Amen.
We've redubbed the name of it. It's no longer Big Blue, it's Big New.
Okay.
It is a new bus, and it is beautiful, and
Okay,
it's our
it's no longer
privilege to
blue,
carry
right? So,
the
okay.
Griffin Bears down to Macon.
They'll be calling it.
I don't like that name. We gotta come up with something else. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0,
Yeah, we gonna
we're
work on
adjourned.
that. We gonna work on that new name.
Yeah, maybe we have a naming
sweet.
contest.
Oh, watch out with naming contest.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be like bus face or something.
Yeah, Big New just doesn't cut.
Hey,
nice
I'm
if
sorry, it
it's
is
amongst
Big
us.
New,
I
because
like
it is a brand-new bus, and it is gorgeous.
Okay, let me, this is yours, you're turning yours in, so you don't have to do anything.
Tornado trip, weren't you?
Get this.
Yes.
Yeah, we hooked the computer up, it worked like a charm.
I'm not saying it's not great, I'm just saying it's a crappy name.
Hey, nobody's come up with a better one.
Make comments what I can do. for you,
Yes, ma'am, I'll do it.
If not, I can, but make comments like the can't perform.
Appreciate that. This was 50 years ago that we, she said yes.
He works for them, so they're happy.
All right. Anything from you? Okay, the money's for you.
Sort of.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I got that. We started to go through.
My dad is not doing well, so it's been somewhat of a
Thank you, sir.
two.